Thank you for being here, my friend. We appreciate it. You know, you're in a business that probably 60% of the people that contact me think they want to be in, which is the restaurant business. You don't have to go back to 1963, but walk us through how you got started in the restaurant business.
I grew up in New York, Long Island, and one of my first jobs was a busboy. And I think, you know, when you're young, the restaurant business is kind of exciting. There's a lot of action going on in the restaurant. So it kind of gets in your blood, especially when you do it early.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that, because I've always said, you know, my first business was a restaurant. I've always said if my first job was a banker, I probably would have bought a bank. You know, my first job was in the restaurant business, so that was the first thing I owned was a restaurant. Talk about that influence and the industry that you actually end up sticking into. Well,
I think, at least for me, you know, growing up, you know, in an Italian family and around Italians, everything's about food, and it's about being around the table, and the restaurant business kind of was a perfect fit for that, especially not only the food part but the hospitality part, you know, of serving people and you know, creating something that people really enjoy, and you know, especially with Italian food, there's a lot of comfort. So, you know, when people have their crazy lives and a lot of things go on, you know, when they come to sit at your table, whether it's at your home or at your restaurant, and they get that, you know, kind of warm comfort feeling from good food, I think there's a lot of satisfaction in that.
Well, right. Craig and I have a lot in common. My dad had a pizza place growing up, and I didn't get the bug like you did, but you know, talk about the.
Well, let me tell you why you didn't get the bug, because I've seen this happen a lot with a lot of my Greek buddies. Right, all of their children very successful, but outside the restaurant business because they realize how hard it is to run.
It is, and Craig, sure. You know, you started out with the one store, and you've gone and expanded, and then you even gotten into a new concept and so just, you know, lead us through that process. You know,
because that's not easy to do. From 1 to 2 is a absolutely material change in how you conduct business.
Yeah, it's a pretty big jump. You know, my personal experience, and I was blessed with good partners and you know, good family. So that, you know, that was instrumental in our expansion. Our second restaurant it was run by my brother, so that was, you know, pretty huge for us. It would have been near impossible for us, you know, at the level of quality that we try to maintain and keeping an eye on business, that we couldn't really do it without family.
Right. Just so you know, I get texts during the show all the time, John. I'm getting pounded with my Warren Buffett concept. I mean, they are abusing me over here. I mean, they are just, they would have done a better job than you did. They're still coming after me. They're just attacking me. They're talking about skill level. They're talking about the companies are paid $2 an hour and make the government pay the rest. I mean, they're just pounding me on that idea. So just so you know, you're not alone here, right?
Yeah. So Craig, you had the two stores, 2 restaurants, pretty similar menus, I assume, right?
Yes.
Identical.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you try this new concept, which I love, Novanta, but quite a different experience when you go into a place that can cook a pizza in 90 seconds.
Yeah. You know, the new concept, believe it or not, is not really new in the sense that the Neapolitan pizza is really how pizza began in the world. So
and I'm Neapolitan, I want you to know.
Oh, there you go. So, you know, that, you know, in Naples, Italy, when pizza was originally created, really how we do it at Novanta is how it was done originally. What we do at Brooklyn South and Brooklyn Boys is, you know, when pizza came to the United States in the early 1900s, the evolution of pizza, you know, in New York and the rest of the country is, you know, more Americanized. So, you know, pizza by the slice And, what we do at Brooklyn South and Brooklyn Boys is kind of more the Americanization of pizza. What we do at Novanta is really kind of a throwback to how pizza was created. A lot simpler, a lot, cleaner ingredients. What we try to do at home, my wife and I, eat better, eat cleaner, more local, fresh produce. So, that's really what we're trying to do with the new concept.
Well, tell people exactly where this is at.
So Novanta is at Langtree at the Lake, which is a new project. They're doing at Exit 31 off of I-77. One of those Birkdale type complexes, shopping and restaurants and living, apartment living right now. So one of those kind of live, work, play kind of places.
How is that shopping center working? I know it had a slow start. What's happening with that entire center?
Yeah, I think there's an evolution there. I think right now they're trying to figure out what they want to put together there and kind of redoing a master plan of how they want to see it lay out and how they want to kind of put each concept entertainment wise and shopping and living and all that stuff. As a market changes, these kind of projects have some kind of evolution.
So, Craig, how long you been down here?
We've been here just over 20 years.
So 20 years. Talk about timing, because I moved here 30 years ago and I couldn't find a good pizza. I couldn't find a lot of good Italian stuff. And, there was a place I remember it made fresh pasta and provisions, and there just weren't enough people that would appreciate that good food. And your timing was pretty good. So as you moved here, a lot of us Yankees moved here, and we were looking for that good slice.
Absolutely. I think part of it sometime is a little bit of luck. I mean, when we moved down here over 20 years ago, like you said, there wasn't a lot of good food. There was sparse places. So that's really when I was working in the food industry, but not on my own yet. And when we did that, I just started to look for, kind of signals of what I could do with my own business and what market, what part of Charlotte I could fit that in. And, I just really started doing research. I mean, that's really what it came down to, just talking to people and connecting with people.
Yeah, I do a lot of that, with business. I mean, I help people buy and sell small businesses. Yeah. And about 2 years ago, I had a client want to open up a pizza business. I did some research for him, and I found out that at the time, there were 39 restaurants within a 2.5 mile where he wanted to open up a pizza shop that sold pizza.
Yeah.
So I said, you might want to consider going someplace else. Yeah. So not only are you in a very competitive industry, but you're in a very competitive piece of, if I may say, slice of an industry as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, a lot of people, when I talk to people in the restaurant, ask me about competition and stuff. And, I've really always considered every bit of food competition. People ask me about, well, what's your competition with pizza? And I say, to me, if somebody's going to go out to dinner, there's so many choices. So really, to me, it's going to be everything that's going to be competition, whether it's sushi or burgers or salad. I think, all those things are competition, across the board because, location and quality of food and all those things are going to play into people's decisions every day when they make decisions about eating.